In 1347, a ship docked in Sicily. The sailors aboard were dead or dying, their bodies covered in black swellings, oozing blood and pus. Port officials ordered the ships out of the harbor immediately. It was already too late. Within 4 years, between 30 and 50% of Europe was gone. 75 million people. Some estimates say 200 million. We remember the Black Death as the greatest catastrophe in human history, and we are right. But we have been asking the wrong question ever since. We ask, how did so many people die? We never ask. To understand what the Black Death did, you first have to understand the world it arrived in. Medieval Europe in the early 14th century was overcrowded, malnourished. The population had grown faster than the food supply. Peasants worked land they did not own. For lords, they could not leave. Wages had been suppressed for generations. The feudal system had held this structure in place for 500 years. It seemed permanent. It seemed natural. It seemed like the way things simply were. And then, the plague arrived. It came from the east, carried along Silk Road trade routes by fleas on rats. In 1346, Mongol forces besieging a trading city in Crimea began catapulting the corpses of their dead over the city walls. It was the first biological weapon in recorded history. The survivors fled by ship to Sicily, to Genoa, to Venice, and wherever the ships docked, death followed. The bacterium was called Yersinia pestis. It attacked the lymph nodes first, causing swellings the size of an egg beneath the armpits and groin. The skin turned black, where the flesh had died beneath it. That is where the name came from. The Black Death moved faster than any human communication system of the time. By 1351, it had crossed the entire continent. For centuries, historians assumed the Black Death killed indiscriminately, that it was pure chaos, pure chance. Modern science has proven otherwise. The plague was not random. It was a filter. Research conducted on skeletal remains from London cemeteries compared populations before and after the Black Death. The findings were unambiguous. The plague preferentially killed the elderly, the already weakened, those with pre-existing physiological stress, those whose immune systems were already compromised. The strong survived, not all of them, but disproportionately. The ones with something the others did not have, and that something was written into their DNA. An international team of scientists studied ancient DNA extracted from burial sites across Europe. They were looking for one thing. Was survival random, or was it genetic? The answer changed everything we thought we knew about human evolution. They found specific genetic variants present at significantly higher rates in survivors than in victims. One gene stood out above all others, ERAP2. Individuals carrying 2 copies of a specific variant of this gene were approximately 40% more likely to survive the Black Death than those without it. 40%. In a pandemic, killing half the population, 40% is the difference between a bloodline that continues and one that ends. ERAP2 helps macrophage cells, the immune system's frontline soldiers, recognize an invading pathogen faster, identify the threat, mobilize the response, kill the bacterium before it kills the host. Those who carried this gene survived. They had children. Their children carried the gene. Within just a few generations, in the entire recorded history of human evolution. The Black Death did not just kill people. It rewrote the human immune system in 4 years. What happened to the ones who survived? Because the answer is not what you expect. Now consider what happened to the survivors economically. Before the plague, labor was abundant. Peasants had no bargaining power. If one refused to work a lord's land, 10 others were waiting to take his place. After the plague, half the workforce was gone, and everything changed, overnight. The most valuable thing in Europe was not gold. It was not land. It was a living human being who could work. For the first time in 5 centuries, peasants could negotiate. They could demand higher wages, better conditions, the right to leave. Lords who refused found their fields empty, their harvests rotting, their estates collapsing. The numbers tell the story precisely. Before the Black Death, The wealthiest 10% of Europe controlled between 65 and 70% of all wealth. By 1450, that share had fallen to 50%, a 15 to 20-point drop in wealth concentration. It took 2 world wars and the Great Depression to produce a comparable redistribution in the modern era. The plague did it with a bacterium. The feudal system, which had defined European civilization for half a millennium, began to collapse, not because of revolution, not because of ideology, but because there were not enough people left to make exploitation sustainable. The Black Death was the most violent wealth redistribution event in Western history, and no one planned it. There is one more consequence of the Black Death that almost no one talks about. The people who survived it lived longer than any European generation that came before them. Bioarchaeological research analyzing skeletal remains from before and after the plague found significant improvements in post-plague survival rates, better nutrition, because fewer people meant more food per person. Higher wages meant better food quality for the first time across all social classes, stronger immune systems, because the weak had been removed from the gene pool. The survivors carried biological advantages that their ancestors had not possessed. For a brief window in the late 14th and early 15th century, the average European was physically healthier than at any point in the previous 500 years. They were stronger, better fed, more economically free, biologically more resilient. The greatest catastrophe in human history had accidentally produced its healthiest generation. But here is where the story turns. The same genes that made plague survivors 40% more likely to live are the same genes that today increase the risk of Crohn's disease, of rheumatoid arthritis, of a range of autoimmune disorders in which the immune system turns against the body it was built to protect. ERAP2, the gene that helped macrophages recognize and destroy Yersinia pestis, is now a known risk factor for autoimmune disease. The immune system that the Black Death forged was optimized for a world full of bacterial threats, a world where the danger was always external, always biological, always visible to the immune system's sensors. We no longer live in that world. We have eliminated most of the bacterial threats the immune system evolved to fight. We sanitize, we vaccinate, we take antibiotics at the first sign of infection, and the immune system, with nothing left to fight outside, turns inward. The plague built us a weapon. We gave that weapon nothing to aim at, and now it aims at us. Consider the modern parallel. The Black Death created a labor shortage. Labor shortages forced wages up. Higher wages redistributed wealth. Distributed wealth dismantled feudalism. The collapse of feudalism created the conditions for the Renaissance, for early capitalism, for the modern state. A catastrophe created structural resilience. Now look at the modern world. We have built the most medically advanced civilization in history. We have more hospitals, more pharmaceutical tools, more public health infrastructure than any generation before us. And yet, autoimmune disease rates have tripled in the last 50 years. Metabolic disorders continue to rise in the wealthiest nations on Earth. In 2020, a single respiratory virus exposed the structural fragility of global supply chains, healthcare systems, and pandemic preparedness frameworks that had been built over decades. We are not weaker than our ancestors because we are less intelligent. We are not more fragile because we made bad decisions. We are more fragile because we solved the problems that made us strong. The Black Death understood something we have forgotten. Stress is not the enemy of survival, in the right form, at the right scale. Stress is the mechanism of survival. Remove it entirely, and the organism that remains has never learned how to fight. So, what did the Black Death get right? Nothing. It was a catastrophe. 75 million people died in agony. Families disappeared. Cities emptied. Civilizations trembled. But in the wreckage it left behind, something happened that no human institution had managed to achieve in 500 years of trying. The weak were taken, the strong remained. The powerful were humbled. The powerless were elevated. The body was tested, and the body adapted. Not because anyone planned it. Not because any king decreed it. Not because any philosopher proposed it. But because when a system is stressed beyond its capacity to maintain its own dysfunction, it resets. History is full of these resets. We call them catastrophes. We mourn them. We study them. But we rarely ask what they were resetting, and we never ask what we might be accumulating. Right now, that the next reset will need to correct. The Black Death did not get anything right, but it left behind a world that was. The question is not whether we will face our own version of this. The question is whether we have built anything worth surviving it for.